when I was watching a video to gain the Jewish modern perspective on certain holidays, the topic of a specific Midrash came up. So this is rabbinic lore. Out of the Babylonian Talmud, Baba Metzia 59b. So the story goes, there are rabbis arguing over whether or not a specific oven is clean. So Eliezer insisted it was clean. All the rest of them, no, it is not ritually clean. It's not ritually clean enough to do what we want to do. No, it's not a good enough oven. Sorry, it will not do. We cannot make our observance this year. Oh, well, too bad. We need money for a whole new oven. Oh, well, we can't miss the observance. Quick, give them money. Get them the resources. Give them the people. Oh, my goodness. So, Jewish tradition is, because things are, proven true or false based on 2 or more witnesses. So, they take that to mean majority rules. All the teachings. Now remember, Yahuwah has sent an angel to give false prophecies to all but one at times. We know he's done it. So majority rule is going to backfire on you if you do not recognize Yahuwah's voice, know his understanding, know what is from Yahuwah and what is not. Eliezer knew what was from Yahuwah. There's nothing wrong with that oven. It is ritually clean. And the others, they're like, nope, for whatever their reason. So, Eliezer, making sure I have the right number of syllables, there's no A in it, so it's Eliezer. He says, well, if I am right, let this tree be uprooted, and move. And the tree uprooted and moved. And they said, what's a tree got to do with it? A tree can't tell us what to do. And then he says, well, if I am right, let the river flow backwards, upriver instead of down. The river flowed. What do we do? Water can't tell us what to do. We have authority over it. This is for us to decide. Well, if my perspective is right, says Eliezer, let the walls of this place that they study, do their rabbinical meetings, and let them fall in. And they started to fall in. And the rabbi said, stop! Walls cannot tell us what to do. And Eliezer says, let a voice come from heaven, if I am right. And a voice comes from heaven. And they say, God can't tell us what to do with it. It's our law. He gave it to us. So, that is to support the Jewish belief that they can bring the Messiah. They govern everything. It's a very popular belief that it's for men to decide. But I'm going to read Genesis verse 40, chapter 40, verse 8. And they said unto him, this is to Joseph, who is in Egypt at this point, so it's before the Exodus, and before they were slaves. He's in prison at the time. And they said unto him, We have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Yosef said unto them, Do not interpretations belong to Elohim? It was well known. Interpretations belong to God. Oh, is that just dreams? No, because even in Christianity, they say that interpretation of the scripture comes from God. So, when it comes to matters of the law, of Torah, always to turn to prayer. Always turn to prayer. If you want to understand the Torah, understanding belongs to God. It says so. And it was such common knowledge back then, but, they weren't allowed to access the common knowledge that was passed down from generation to generation once certain people got involved. And that's the lesson that we learned in Maccabees. Who is responsible for the destruction of the recorded writings of the Torah? They were actually Israelites themselves. They said, we want to do what the nations do. We're going to destroy the Torah. You cannot speak of it. You cannot say it out loud. They did that to their own people, so that they wouldn't have to obey the Torah and they wouldn't even have to hear it. They're not guilty if they don't know, right? And that is how we end up with this. I was just amazed, sitting there listening to the teaching, and he's teaching to the Jewish congregation, the assembly of Jewish people. This is not geared for me. He's like, all those Christians, those galoots, those, Erev, the people of the nations, the Gentiles. I mean, he is addressing and speaking solely for Jewish people. So, here I am, the only non-Jew present that I'm aware of, and I know and understand what their ancestors did not. And there's a Midrash in here that says, Yahuwah says, what will you give me for a surety if I give you this law? And they said, our ancestors as a surety. No, your ancestors were not all righteous. I won't accept that. I forget what the other one was. It was a future thing. Bring me good sureties. Okay, our prophets will be our sureties. I have faults to find with your prophets. Still, bring me good sureties, and I will give the Torah to you. They said unto him, Our children will be our sureties. And God replied, Indeed, these are good sureties. For their sake I will give you the Torah. And so, they quote Psalms chapter 8, verse 3, Out of the mouth of babes and sucklings you have founded strength. They got their Torah because they used their children as collateral. If we don't follow the Torah, you can kill our children. But we will give our children the Torah, your teachings. We will give our children to you. If not, we don't deserve our children. You can take our children away. Always willing to sacrifice the children. But to give your kids into service and not have the right to govern and parent them is not a bad deal. If I screw up, it's like, just save my children. I'm a slave to my ways. Just please preserve my children. Like, that's not a bad perspective. But yeah, I was just noted, like, it is all recorded for us. It is all available. So when debating over what we're supposed to do about, certain practices, certain beliefs, how to apply them, who to apply them, when to apply them, all that kind of thing, understanding comes from the one who created all these things. Turn to that one. And no. I'm like, the word slips my mind now. Like, the form of government they say America has, where the majority rules. Like it's always said, that's like asking, 5 wolves and a sheep what's for dinner. The people who want to devour usually outnumber those who don't want to go around devouring everybody else. Really. I can't believe the word slipped my mind. Democracy. That's what it is. I'm obsessed with theocracy. Democracy just totally slipped my mind. Majority rules. No. There's only one that rules. And that is Yahuwah. The Creator knows what to do about this. Always go to the Creator. Always. And I understand how after watching a few of these, somebody might be like, oh my gosh, she's a Jew basher. No. I am simply recognizing that those who call themselves Jews are not Israelites at heart. They're not practicing Torah. They are not believing Israelites. And that's why they aren't given to believe in Yahusha. That's why they hate him. We didn't need saving from outside forces. We needed saving from ourselves. And they rejected that saving. Just like they rejected the Torah. Rely on their own understanding. Mob rule. That's what modern Judaism is. I feel bad about that. For Yahuwah, for everybody who is deprived of the Torah because of it. I mean, how many people, when that day comes, when the day of judgment comes, and you've got the choice. Do you want the law? Don't you want the law? There are so many that are going to say, I want the law. I wish I had known the law. I wish somebody was there to teach me and show me the right version, the right understanding of the law. But like I was talking in the other video about what good is it to be, a petrified carcass on a mountaintop, lost in being at one in the darkness, not conscious, with the unconscious. What good are we to people if we're not giving them Yahuwah's understanding? We're not any good to them at all. Unless we're a purified vessel, we aren't any good to anybody. We're not there. We're not giving them what they need. And so if we know what they need, if we know our responsibility and we refuse to fulfill it, we are responsible for all the crime that happens by those people, and because they're ignorant and don't know any other way on how to get what they need. Keeping our mouths shut makes us responsible for the atrocities of this world. Not being what we were designed to be and meant to be. Insecurity makes us responsible for atrocity. Fear of our ego, not trusting that Yahuwah will groom us and keep us within safe boundaries so our ego doesn't overrule, that we don't use powerful words in the wrong place at the wrong time. Withholding ourselves because of that, we are responsible for atrocity. That is horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. But again, this is realization of our realization. And with time speeding up and more understanding coming through, more people are popping into sudden realization and not knowing what to do with it, not able to handle it. And so it's stifled down. It's put back to sleep. Because otherwise, you end up with cults like that dude who claims he's the successor of Jesus and of Muhammad and the real Pope. And that's what happened. He had an awakening experience and a resonance with being in the presence of God. But when God announces himself, it comes in, I am that I am. And this message and this strong presence comes into you. You're like, oh, I am that I am. Oh, I am. Or if it's Yahusha, or the one that identifies itself as Jesus, comes in. You're awakened. Spirits are alerted. And they jump in. Open channel, brand new, big feelings, let's state our name. And they will think that they are us, an incarnation of us. And then they'll go off and create a cult that will lure other people into darkness. Another belief they've got going around is a new species of human beings. That's what the autistic kids are. No, they were not traumatized at birth, and no, there was no swapping of spirits. There's no demonic possession going in there. No. What did Yahusha say was wrong with the kid that kept throwing himself in the fire? He cast the demon out of him. It was a demon causing that. The demon stepping back, and the kid feels vulnerable because it's not used to driving the car. And what is that noise? It's an infant's consciousness responding to the environment. And then when the demon's done wreaking havoc, presence and gets stuff done. And the child and everybody around the child thinks it's the child because they don't believe demons would do that. And all because they want to decide for themselves like Eve did. They're eating the fruit from the tree of good and evil. They're calling good evil and evil good. The evil that they do is good. It's what they're choosing. If in your eyes it be good, you read that phrase in the Bible a lot, in Scripture. So, there you have it. I don't know, I just feel like being quiet. Because I was going to lay down and take a nap. But the vibrating has started again, which means understanding is moving. And get it out now before it's just not my time. And I go dark again. Kind of makes sense to go dark until the day. And then they will need teachers and stuff like that. Killing time. Not really. Making good use of the time, that's for sure. Okay, so again, interpretation in all things. Got a sign, got a dream, got a scripture, got a saying, got a ritual, whatever it is you got, pray for understanding from Yahuwah, and you will know. Don't buy into that democratic majority rules. Yes, if two people come forward with irrefutable proof and reputable word, but no, that is not how we choose our understanding. Just because two witnesses come and say this person did this, that doesn't say that the judge is going to say, oh, I understand that this person is guilty of death because they said he did this. The judge is there to say, okay, this person did this, here's the background, here's the circumstances, this is why this happened, they did it, they're guilty of it, but does it deserve the punishment? And that's why in the United States, most people don't know about this, but there's such a thing as jury nullification. So if an entire jury decides that law is BS and does not apply to the situation, the leader of the jury can go out. We have decided to nullify in this case. And you know what? They made it illegal for me to tell you about that. I wonder why that would happen. Everything. Which reminds me, I was going to tell the story about how the government works. I already did that. But I didn't finish the story. So, small town, penniless. The only store close by, because I didn't have a vehicle. I'm talking so small, there's one road that's paved. The main road. All that's on that road was a post office and a little store that had groceries, made pizza, stuff like that. Just a local store. And I couldn't get to the grocery store. I had a food stamp card, so I would go get groceries and stuff there. And it was put out, the government, big news announcements, any places that take food stamps, if more than 30% of their income is off of alcohol, then the person will lose their food stamps for using their EBT card, their cash benefits and stuff. I didn't have any of those, so breathe. Those times are over. I'm not living there now. So I'm in a panic. I'm calling the State Department. I'm like, dude, I don't know if more than 30% of it's the only thing within walking distance. I don't have a vehicle. I have to feed my kids. Am I going to lose my food stamps because they sell beer and pizza? Like, I don't know. How alcoholic are the people around me? I wouldn't know. A lot of alcoholic. This is probably the majority of their money was made off of alcohol. But I'm in a panic. And the person in the office says, they're not going around checking to see where everybody's spending their food stamps. They don't have the time, they don't have the resources, they don't have the will. But what they do know is if you tell people that, it will have the same effect that it had on me. They're not going to use the ATM at the strip club anymore. That's what was happening. People were using the ATM at the strip club. And, like, if you could buy packaged food, the bar could take packaged food, say that it's packaged food, when in fact it's for alcohol, stuff like that. So, it was a psychological threat. It wasn't what the government was actually going to do. Send panic, get obedience, get cooperation. That changes now with AI and everything being in technology. Everything going digital. Because AI can keep track of that. How many foods, anytime a food stamp card is accessed at this ATM at this kind of location, or a location with a liquor license, cut off the benefits. They don't even have to think about it. They won't even send you a letter. It'll just be, well, they'll send you a letter saying it was canceled because you've been... It's going to change. It used to all just be psychological. Now it's going to be literal. So, there you go. This is where the feelings and emotions video comes in. Master them. Have faith that all will go well for you. Read the Torah, believe the Torah, and if you don't understand what's going on, pray about it. Understanding comes from God. Period.